Welcome to the Middle Eight Football Podcast, the fastest 8 minutes in sports. I'm your host, Joe Burks, and let's dive in to week 2 of NFL action, breaking it down game by game. We only have 8 minutes, so let's go ahead and get into it. Before I begin, don't forget to follow the podcast, share with your friends, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube as well. But starting off, we have Detroit versus Chicago. This was a blowout win for Detroit. They scored over 50 points. Elite offensive performance, like I said. Goff went 23 for 28 passing. 334 passing yards, 5 passing touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown just ridiculously involved. 9 receptions, 115 yards, 3 touchdowns. They love to use him in the red zone, like I've said before. James Williams, the speedster, 2 receptions, 108 yards, and a touchdown as well. Then Jahmyr Gibbs, 12 carries, 94 yards, and a touchdown. Then focusing on the Bears a little bit, their defense just got absolutely torn apart by this Lions offense. And Detroit, I wasn't worried about them last week after their loss to the Packers, and they proved me right. A really great bounce back game against a division rival. Giants versus Cowboys, best game of the week by far. Cowboys end up winning 40-37, I believe, in overtime. Russell Wilson sets a single game career high passing yards mark at 454 yards. And if you would have told me before the season that Russell Wilson sets his career high mark in passing yards on the Giants in 2025, I would have called you crazy, but here we are. Cam Skattebo, rookie running back out of Arizona State, handled most of the Giants' carries out of the backfield. 11 carries, 45 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. Could be one to watch in the coming weeks. Maybe he'll take over this backfield, or at least it'll be more of a split than it was in week 1. When you look at the film for Skattebo from this past week, he almost never went down on first contact. He was breaking tackles left and right. Dak Prescott was great, 38 for 52 passing, 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, only 1 interception, led them to the win. The offense looked awesome. Javonte Williams, he's bounced back from those early career injuries he suffered in Denver. Put up 18 carries, 97 yards, and a touchdown. But the Cowboys are no doubt one of the most intriguing teams in the league. I'm just worried about how that defense is going to fare going forward. Then the kicker, Brandon Aubrey, tied it in the fourth quarter, sent to overtime with a 60-yard field goal, and won the game winner for them in overtime. I think he's going to be the best kicker in NFL history if he keeps doing this for like 5 more years. Indianapolis versus Denver. I said last week this is going to be a measuring stick game for Daniel Jones after a great week 1 against Miami, and he absolutely delivered, lived up to it, proved it wasn't a fluke. 23 for 34 passing, 316 passing yards, 2 total touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor, running back, continues to be elite. 25 carries, 165 rushing yards, 2 receptions, 50 yards receiving, and a touchdown through the air as well. And the Colts have still not punted this season. I don't think any other team has ever gone 2 games without punting once. So they have surpassed my wildest expectations. I am so happy to be a Colts fan right now. Bo Nix, quarterback for the Broncos, made some big plays. Looked decent after a shaky week 1. He had 3 touchdown passes. That Will Lutz field goal miss definitely hurt them late in the game. They opened the door for the Colts to come back and win. Spencer Schrader, the Colts kicker, missed a 60-yarder, but then after a penalty, which was leveraging from the Broncos, he hit it from 45 yards for the win. So a back-breaking penalty for Denver ends this instant classic of a game. We have Jacksonville versus Cincinnati. Trevor Lawrence, still worryingly inconsistent, in my opinion. But 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Didn't play a bad game. This backfield for Jacksonville, of rookie Bashal Tutin and veteran Travis Etienne Jr. looks fantastic. But enough about the Jags. Let's talk about the winner of this game. The Cincinnati Bengals pulled it out. Jake Browning came in for the injured Joe Burrow. Passed for 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Also had the rushing touchdown off the QB sneak to win the game. The big storyline of the game was Joe Burrow, who got a really bad turf toe injury. Got sacked. Went down and wasn't able to return to the game. It looks like he's going to have surgery and is out for a minimum of 3 months. Things are looking grim in Cincinnati. Patriots versus Dolphins. Mike McDaniel steadily increasing his odds to be the first head coach fired in the NFL this season. Another loss for the Dolphins. The offense looked better this week, but the defense was still atrocious. They just don't have the guys to compete on that side of the ball. There were back-to-back return touchdowns on special teams in this game. Malik Washington and Antonio Gibson. On the New England side of things, Drake May looked fantastic, continuing to develop and become that franchise quarterback. 19 for 23 passing, which is really efficient. 230 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns. And then a great game for Ramondre Stevenson, the veteran running back. He was the team's leading receiver, had 142 total yards, so he's looked pretty good this year. Arizona versus Carolina. The Panthers offense had a rough start, had a fumble and an interception, both from Bryce Young. It looked like it was going to be more of the same from last week when they got stomped by the Jaguars. But they made the game close. Bryce Young passed for 328 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. They had a comeback, recovered an onside kick, but unfortunately came up just short. The Cardinals won. I think the Cardinals are a solid team. They're 2-0. Yes, starting off with that cupcake schedule. Their defense has been pretty intrigued. They could be a pretty good unit this year. We have Kansas City versus Philadelphia, the Super Bowl rematch from last season. We didn't see the offensive fireworks we expected. Philadelphia did just enough to win. Now they've won 2 in a row against Kansas City. The short passing game has continued to look good. The running game has continued to look good. The Chiefs' passing attack was really stifled until late in the game. It took a while for Mahomes to hit over 100 passing yards, which isn't really something that happens that often. I think Kansas City will still make the playoffs. They're 0-2, which is I don't think has ever happened under Patrick Mahomes. But you have to consider they've played the Chargers, they played the Eagles, two really good teams out of the gate. I'll give them a few weeks to get their feet under them. We have the Rams versus the Titans. Cam Ward may have lost the game, but had a really cool touchdown pass. I know it's some riveting analysis there, but no, Cam Ward for his first career touchdown pass ran across the field, launched a crossbody to the other side of the field. If you haven't watched the play, I suggest you go over on YouTube, look it up now. But the Titans still fall short to the Rams. Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams combined for 197 receiving yards, looking like one of the best receiving duos in the NFL, like I predicted they would be before the season. And the Rams pulled away in the fourth quarter. But the Titans, this wasn't a blowout. The Titans look decent, and I'm really intrigued to see how Cam Ward's going to play the rest of the season. He's looked good through 2 weeks as number one overall pick. San Francisco versus New Orleans. Spencer Rattler versus Mac Jones. Not the most highlighted quarterback matchup coming into the week, but ended up being pretty entertaining. Mac Jones looked 26 for 39 passing, 279 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. 49ers come out with the win. Christian McCaffrey providing just a signature game, 55 rushing yards, 52 receiving yards, and a touchdown. And then Spencer Rattler for the Saints. They may have lost, but he still went 25 for 34, 207 passing yards, and 3 passing touchdowns. I don't think the Saints are going to be quite as bad as we thought they're going to be. I think they're going to win at least a couple games this season, but they did lose to the Mac Jones-led 49ers, so, take that as you will. Bills versus Jets, just a blowout game. Kind of the biggest note, Josh Allen looks like he injured his nose on a design quarterback run, but he did come back into the game, obviously. As a result, Buffalo leaned more on that rushing attack with James Cook, and he earned every bit of that new contract he got in the offseason. 21 carries, 132 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 6.3 yards per carry. Sliced up that New York defense, broke tackles all over the place. Justin Fields, who had a great week one against Pittsburgh, was ineffective as a passer. Finished this game with a whopping 27 passing yards, went 3 for 11 passing, and exited the game in the fourth quarter with a concussion, so things got even worse. He's in concussion protocol, according to head coach Aaron Glenn. We don't know if he's going to play next week, so it'll be Tyrod Taylor time if he cannot make it. Atlanta versus Minnesota, the Sunday night game. Both offenses look pretty stagnant for most of the game, but Atlanta's rushing attack as a team, they ran for 216 yards, 5.6 yards per carry, and McCarthy's turnovers won the game for Atlanta in the end. Solid game for Atlanta. That defense looked pretty good, especially the pass rush, much improved. I think Minnesota's going to improve over the rest of the season. They had multiple injuries across the offensive line that resulted in those 6 sacks by Atlanta. And we have to remember McCarthy's just 2 regular season games into his career. He showed so much potential in week 1, especially in the fourth quarter, or pretty much only in the fourth quarter, against Chicago. Seattle versus Pittsburgh, huge bounce-back game from Kenneth Walker III, the running back. Took 13 carries for 105 yards and a touchdown, 8.1 yards per carry. Just really efficient, impressive game from him. The Seahawks just could not run the ball last week. A lot better of a week on the ground for them against Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers regressed from last week against the Jets. He threw 2 interceptions. It really should have been 3, but there was a drop pick. Jalen Warren, Steelers running back, looks like he locked up the job. Overall, it's just a bad day to be a Caleb Johnson's fan. 3rd-round running back they drafted out of Iowa. He got no snaps, and then had a kick return opportunity and made a boneheaded mistake. Not knowing the kickoff rules, let it go into the end zone, and the Seahawks recovered for a touchdown. Then Baltimore versus Cleveland, just a blowout game. Derrick Henry was bottled up, to be fair, held to about 2 yards per carry or so, but Lamar was unstoppable, 4 passing touchdowns. But Mark Andrews, longtime star tight end for the Ravens, only 7 receiving yards through 2 games. Not panicking just yet because he kind of started the season a similar way last year, so I wouldn't be dropping him if you have him in fantasy. I wouldn't be starting him either, though, but I'm preparing for the Isaiah Likely breakout, the tight end for the Ravens, who's been really good over the past couple of years, much younger than Andrews. He's been out the first couple weeks of the season with an injury, but once he comes back, I think he's going to be a major part of this offensive game plan, so just getting ready for that. As far as the Thursday night game this week, we have Buffalo versus Miami. I'm taking Buffalo by 1,000,000. Miami's looks really bad right now, as I expected them to. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. That's all I got. I'll see you guys in the next one.